All right, we're back. Mock draft part 3. My third version. This one is only going to be one round. So will the fourth and final version. Uh, yeah, gonna get right into it. First, overall, it's obvious they're taking Caleb Williams. He's the best player in the draft, at least at his position, and Chicago is going for a quarterback. It's obvious since they traded away Fields. So, now number 2, I have the Commanders taking Drake May. I know there's some talks about them taking Jaden Daniels or J.J. McCarthy. I just don't believe it. Drake May, in my opinion, would be easily number 1 overall if it wasn't for Caleb Williams. And I think there's even probably a few teams who would prefer Drake May over Caleb Williams. You love to see clicking on an ad that doesn't work. Number 3, Jaden Daniels for the Patriots. They need a quarterback. They got rid of Mac Jones. Bailey Zappi is not going to be the answer. There are no good free agent quarterbacks left besides if you want to roll Ryan Tannehill. But even then, I would still draft a quarterback. At number 4, we have the Cardinals. Except they're not going to be picking. We're actually going to be having them trading with the Vikings. We're not going to really worry about it. We're just going to be swapping their picks. I don't know the value. We're just going to do that for now. I don't think the Vikings are going to get rid of their pick 23, so I think 11 is fair. They're definitely taking, if they do trade up J.J. McCarthy, I could see them maybe taking Marvin Harrison Jr. and rolling with Sam Darnold, but I don't think that's a great idea. So, yeah. Speaking of Marvin Harrison Jr., number 5, he's going to the Chargers. Chargers need a receiver. They have Quentin Johnston and some other player. I don't remember. It might be Josh Palmer. That's it. And that is not a good receiving core, even if it is just those two guys. So, yeah. Number 6, Malik Neighbors going to the Giants. It makes sense. Give Daniel Jones another weapon. I don't think you're quite ready to move on from Daniel Jones yet. I think you still see what he has. So, yeah. 7, Titans, they're taking Joe Alt. They already boosted their offense a lot with Calvin Ridley, and they got rid of Derrick Henry, but got Tony Pollard, which, in my opinion, is a downgrade, but at the same time, could be much worse. Dallas Turner at 8 to the Falcons just makes a whole lot of sense. The first defensive player. Their offense is very good, in my opinion, if it all works out. Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. That is a good running back group or offense. I mean, that is great. Rome Odunze at 9 to the Bears, doubling up on the offense. I feel like that's going to be one of the better, if not honestly, the best receiving core. Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. That is such a good receiving core. 10 for the Jets. It's obvious they're going to take Olumu. They're taking the tackle out of Penn State. I'm not even going to try. Fashanu. Whatever. Olu Fashanu. I know people call him that. You don't want Aaron Rodgers getting injured again. I mean, he only got paid $81 in player compensation or whatever it's called. That's not how much he actually got paid. He got paid his actual salary, but that's just based off of performance. Terran Arnold is going to be going to the Cardinals. For the Cardinals, it's obvious you're not competing. You picked 3rd or 4th overall for a reason. So, yeah. They're not competing. I feel like they're going to take best position or best player for, position of need. Not really. Because they could, definitely go after positional need. But there's not much of a point when you're not going to compete. So, yeah. Play to Latu for the Broncos. Same thing with them. I doubt Jarrett Stidham's going to bring you to promised land. I honestly would not be surprised if the Broncos rolled with Jarrett Stidham. I feel like they could honestly try and see how Jarrett Stidham does. Another thing I could see him doing is signing Ryan Tannehill. But other than that, I don't think there's really any other player you should go after. Maybe trading like a 7th round pick if you can for Zach Wilson. But even then, I don't know. 1340 Raiders, I have Talise Fuaga. Bolstering up that offense, giving Aiden O'Connell some help, I guess. I could also see the Raiders roll with Aiden O'Connell as a thing. I don't know why. Aiden O'Connell showed decent flashes last season. I really like his potential. It's just, he is not a Brock Purdy. He is not being put into the perfect situation to succeed. Saints, they're taking Jared Verse, edge out of Florida State. Boost that defense. I mean, Cam Jordan's getting old. What is he, 34, 35? You aren't getting younger. And plus, your offense, I don't think there's a whole lot to change besides a receiver. And I feel like this is kind of a reach for Brian Thomas, but at the same time, he's probably the only receiver I could see going like this early outside the big three. Colts, I have them taking Quinion Mitchell. In my personal opinion, I think he's the best corner. I know Terrion Arnold probably puts up a very good fight, but Quinion Mitchell I just feel like is better, where Terrion Arnold I feel like fits the Cardinals better. Seahawks, I have them going Johnny Newton, D-tackle out Illinois. Boost up that defense. I mean, their offense, in my opinion, looks pretty good. You got Kenneth Walker, Geno Smith. I don't know why people are like talking bad about him. He's, in my opinion, a very good quarterback. I mean, he's a top 32 quarterback. You got one of the better receiving duos in Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. Yeah, I think they're fine. Jaguars, I have them taking Amarius Mims, tackle out of Georgia. I personally feel like he is better than Troy Fautanu. Fautanu. Bengals, Brock Bowers, it's obvious. I mean, they've been signing tight ends to one-year deals for the past 3 seasons. I feel like this has to change, and I feel like Brock Bowers is the perfect player to change that. Rams, I have them taking Byron Murphy, the second D-tackle out of Texas. They just lost Aaron Donald. They need someone to fill up that kind of area. He's a great guy. Steelers, I'm taking J.C. Latham, tackle out of Alabama. I think Fautanu and Latham are like the same caliber. However, I feel like Latham probably fits the Steelers just a bit better. But that's perfect for the Dolphins, who are going to end up taking Fautanu. So, I mean, it works out for both teams, in my opinion. Eagles at 22, I think they're going to take Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson. Corner is a need for them. I feel like they're going to address that need right here, right now. They don't really have a reason not to, so yeah. Vikings, I think they're going to take Brian Thomas Jr. They have Jordan Addison. They potentially have Justin Jefferson. I don't think anyone knows what's going on with that. But I feel like they're either going to try and prepare for the worst with this pick or try and make Justin Jefferson happy with this pick. So either way, they're trying to do something that involves Justin Jefferson. It's obvious for the Cowboys they're taking a center. I think they just lost their guy to Miami, so it makes sense. And I don't think they complain. Jackson Powell-Johnson, I know people are saying, like, he's not as good. I know, like, there's reports that teams aren't as interested in him as draft people are. I think he's a good center. I think he's probably the best center, and I don't think it's really close. So I think he's definitely a first rounder. I know people are saying falling out of the top 20. I think he's not even a top 20 prospect. However, I think he's a guaranteed first rounder. Packers, Cooper DeJean. That is like the most Packer pick possible. I personally feel like Kool-Aid McKinstry is a better player, but if I was the Packers, I would probably take him because he fits better. He may not be the better overall player, but he definitely fits better. Chop Robinson for the Buccaneers. They get their edge rusher. I know their defense is kind of lacking a bit, and I don't really feel like you need to fix that offense. I feel like all you have to hope for is Cade Otton and Rachaad White to play better, and you'll be good. 27, we have the Cardinals. I think they're going to take Keon Coleman, wide receiver, Florida State. Get that wide receiver. I feel like he is a first rounder. I feel like he is wide receiver 5. I know people are talking about Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, Troy Franklin. I personally just believe really highly in Keon Coleman. But that also works out for the Bills, as they are going to take Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver out of Texas. That's going to boost their receiver corps. They just lost Diggs. They lost Gabe Davis to the Jaguars. They have Khalil Shakir as a starter, and that's not a good starter in my opinion. I think he's a starting receiver, but to be wide receiver 1 is very iffy. He's probably going to end up being wide receiver 1, but they definitely need to draft someone to pair with him. At number 29, we have the Lions, except they're not going to be picking. We actually have a trade. I know I talked a lot about Aiden O'Connell, but the Raiders are saying, we don't want Aiden O'Connell to be our starting quarterback. We want someone else. They are going to make a trade up for the first round, mainly just to secure a quarterback for 1. And for 2, they get that nice 5th-year option. And who else would they be to take but Bo Nix? I feel like Bo Nix is better than Michael Penix Jr., although Penix did beat him both times. Either way, they're taking one of them. I feel like the Lions are a great spot to trade up with. The Lions don't have many needs. I love Penix. I think in my first mock draft, I have him going 13 with the Raiders. I just feel like the hype around Bo Nix has gotten to me. Penix, I love you, but I can't. Graham Barton for the Ravens. They get a guard. I don't know if they necessarily need it, but it said they do, so I'm taking it. 49ers at 41, they're going to get Tyler Guyton. Trent Williams is getting old, and I don't know who their right tackle is. I think Mike McGlinchey. No, he's on the other team now, the Broncos. So, yeah, they're going to get that O-line. And 32, Xavier Worthy. It just makes sense. You lose MVS. He also is a nice Tyreek Hill replacement, kind of. That's my mock draft. The one player who I feel like could sneak into the first round is Michael Penix, and that is going to be with that trade with the Raiders. I don't know who they're going to take, all right? I think it's one of those two. I definitely think there's a great chance they trade up. I just don't know which one they're going to take. The reason I don't do 2-round mock drafts is because I can just tell I suck at them. I can tell by watching other people's mock drafts that I just take people not good. So yeah. That's kind of why I don't do that. So yeah. One last thing I want to also talk about is I have a very hot take, and I was looking at it because I saw someone's thing. I thought Jordan Travis was probably going to be a top 3rd round pick. Apparently he's projected to be quarterback 5? No, 7. Excuse me, sorry. I thought Jordan Travis was good. Apparently Spencer Rattler was supposed to go ahead of him. So yeah, I have really high hopes for Jordan Travis, but I'm not gonna let my bias get in the way. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. I did. This is going out the day after I record it, Thursday. I'm recording this pretty much an hour after the Diggs trade happened. So I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Hope you enjoy. And for part 4, the final part, sometime before the draft. I can't give you a date. I just know it's going to be before the draft. So yeah.